Good Thursday evening, everybody. I'm meteorologist Casey Cloud here in the Weather Center with this live update. Taking a look here at the Doppler radar across the North Florida, South Georgia region with those temperatures overlaid. You do see what is happening here right now. We have some 90s on the board here, but we also even have a few 80s here mixed in. Some areas have cooled off just a little bit. You see up toward Albany, they're at 87 right now. Another area there in interior southwestern Georgia around Camilla, 87 degrees as well. And then as we get off toward the northeast Florida, southeast toward the coastline here, and you're looking at parts of the first coast, for instance, you do see we are seeing some of those temperatures here in toward those upper 80s. So something to kind of see here as you're seeing some cooling trends in some areas, some showers, some thunderstorms in others, but we're not seeing as much shower and thunderstorm activity in toward the Jacksonville area, especially in toward areas like Gainesville that we saw yesterday. So that is the good news here overall in terms of things. We aren't seeing as much lightning here, and we're not seeing things get too serious across our region, but we'll watch it just to make sure, watch the activities to make sure that nothing does pop out of it that does become concerning. But right now, let's go ahead and kind of talk about what is happening here overall. And you do see down toward Ocala and Gainesville, we are getting some shower action, but it's not too big of a deal right now. You see some temperatures there. As we get down toward Ocala, for instance, you see just a little bit cooler there toward the upper 80s. And then as we get though into toward areas like Gainesville, if you're watching from Gainesville right now, 91 degrees, up toward Keystone, 90 degrees. So you kind of get the idea here of what is happening. Some areas here not seeing that rain is close by. As we look here over the last 12 hours or so, you do see some spots here that have picked up rain in toward Marion County, Alachua, out toward Columbia as well. And then as we get towards South Georgia, you see some areas there near Albany getting upwards of an inch of rain there as we're looking up toward parts there of some of these areas. We're talking here southwest of Leesburg, southeast of Dawson here in toward that area. But Albany proper really hadn't seen the rain as we're looking over the last 12 hours or so. So something to kind of keep in mind there as we're looking to see who's got the rain. If you're watching from Tallahassee right now, 94 degrees in toward Leon County, 94 period, a little warmer out toward the west here with the overall pattern. That's going to kind of stay the story here, as we look in toward that weekend forecast to be able to see that trend here in the forecast information that I'll be showing you here in just a few minutes. But I'll go ahead and broaden the view out again, and we'll also put on some of those heat index values. You see still feeling like about 100 degrees in Tallahassee, 103 in Quincy, up toward Bainbridge, 103. So a lot of 90s, 100s on the board here. The one that sticks out that's not in that range right now is out towards Swanee County in the Live Oak area. And you'll be able to see here as we look past over the last 12 hours, you see we did have some rain in toward that area there. So that kind of tells the story in those past 12 hours or so, as you're seeing how temperatures, heat index values have been reduced here by that moisture in the region. Always important, always interesting to look at here because that is key to exactly what type of temperature trends you see on a micro scale level. So we'll go ahead and look away from our area right now, though, because I do have some severe weather to talk about in the state of New York right now. Western New York, in fact, there is a tornado warning on the board here near Randolph, New York, for instance. We're watching a possible circulation there moving east at about 25 miles an hour, and it looks like it'll be near Allegheny State Park here around 7 o'clock tonight. So we're going to be warning people in that area. I know if they're watching me or watching their local stations there, watching from the Buffalo television market, they want to be going ahead and getting inside and away from windows here in toward this area. And as I broaden the view out, you do see a severe thunderstorm watch here is in play for a pretty large area. This goes until 9 o'clock Eastern time tonight for areas like Pittsburgh, for instance. You see some other spots here. I kind of zoomed out to give you a broader perspective here. As I zoom out even a little bit further, you'll be able to kind of see exactly what is happening here with this thunderstorm watch, meaning severe storms are possible in and close to the watch area here in this pink color. But you also have to keep in mind we can also get some spin up tornadoes, and that's what we're seeing in the state of New York, that potential. I know we had some storms, some tornadoes in Illinois yesterday that we were talking about over exclusively on the Facebook platform. We alluded to that on Tuesday on the Twitter platform, and now we're on all the platforms here as we're looking at this Thursday update. Of course, that's what we're normally doing on Mondays and Thursdays now. Restreaming things to a few different platforms. On Tuesday, exclusively tune in for that update on Twitter, and Wednesday exclusively for that update on Facebook. Now, next Monday, this coming Monday, I really should say here, as we start that next week, you do see that we are going to be, in fact, giving you the updates here a little bit differently, in that on Monday I'm going to be off. I'm going to be taking a little break here. I've been pretty busy in the Weather Center over the last little bit, and I'm going to go ahead and kind of re-energize a little as hurricane season gets deeper, and we aren't seeing any threats right now. I'll talk about that here in a moment too, but no update on Monday. Just want to let you know that. So our next update, unless there's severe weather, of course, that we need to cut in for on the various platforms, will be on Tuesday exclusively on the Twitter platform, twitter.com/CloudCasey, of course. So just kind of giving you that information, that heads up here. And now let's go ahead and dive back into this storm. We're even getting a tornado vortex signature off the Buffalo Reedor right now. You see this pretty clear, in fact. You see that really tight rotation around Randolph right now. This is something you don't see too often here in this part of the country, western New York. But a tornado warning in effect until 7 o'clock tonight here, with a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado in this area, moving east at about 25 miles an hour. So you see some of these areas in the path. I mean, I'll be watching here to see how this holds together, moving east at about 25 miles an hour. I know we're watching eventually maybe toward Allegheny County, for instance, to see exactly what impacts are around maybe Belmont, for instance. We'll just have to watch and wait here exactly based on the movement of this. You see that hook echo. I know we're moving some things around here on the system. I know we're also losing a few frames, so I apologize for that, but you get the idea here. This is pretty tight rotation. We're getting gate to gate here for about 60-70 miles an hour. And for this part of the country, I mean, to get a gate-to-gate signature this solid, something you don't normally see. So something to take into account here. We'll continue to watch all of this here for you, of course, as we are looking at some of our different tools here on, of course, this Thursday evening. Just checking some different things here in the Weather Center. I know I'm even looking at the chat session here. Nothing important for our area right now that's happening. Of course, those heat index values are high, but nothing imminent here. I know down toward the Tampa area, they have had some maybe water spouts in that region, it seems, but not impacting our viewing areas. So that's the good news, of course, as we're looking at some more things here, trying to give you that latest information, that latest heads up on things. And something else, this is kind of intriguing as well here, so we'll kind of keep the national theme going for right now and switch you over to a look here at a severe thunderstorm warning in California. We're talking about a storm here near South Lake Tahoe, and it's nearly stationary right now, maybe some 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts and half dollar-sized hail. That's something I don't normally see. I know the Weather Service in Reno, Nevada, issuing this warning here, and this is an area that doesn't normally get severe weather, so kind of intriguing to see that on our weather maps here this evening. Still actually afternoon, of course, as we get out there in toward that Pacific time zone, but you get the idea. Warning continuing for that area till 3:45 Pacific time in that area. You kind of see it's pretty isolated here with the accent along the Nevada-California border. And we'll just keep our eyes on all that. Nothing tornadic right now, but just intriguing to talk about here as we bring it back to home. You still see some showers around. I know we have some of that accent here in towards southwest Georgia around Newton, for instance. We're watching some of that. And then as we get down toward the Big Bend, you see some showers around Tallahassee, over toward Blountstown as well. So we're definitely keeping our eyes on all of this, but nothing too significant, no significant weather advisors that I've seen here in the chat session. So that's the good news, of course, as we're looking at some things. But right now, let's go ahead. We'll move along, I think, as we are looking here at North Florida and the region around us. You'll be able to see here on the actual cameras as we look first off at the Union County Emergency Management one from WeatherStim. You see some clouds in the distance. This kind of tells a story with where some of the accent is. We're looking here. We're looking down toward the south and west. So this is looking from Union County toward the south and west. You can kind of see some of those storms here in the distance. So just something to take note of there. But again, nothing really significant at the moment. Another camera will show you, will take you to the baseball grounds in Jacksonville and Duval County, and you'll be able to see what is happening there. You see that sun shining a little bit brighter as the storms have been, well, we do have, not many, but they have been pushed inland here, and that's making things a little bit nicer out toward Jacksonville. A little cooler, but a little nicer there in terms of the shower action. I mean, a little nicer in both aspects, really. I mean, it's the not just, I guess I should say clearer. I mean, I'm talking about nicer, but it's actually nicer in both aspects, unless you like the hot weather, of course. And then as we go over toward the stadium camera at FSU, you'll be able to see what is happening there. You see a dark cloud there, kind of blocking out the sun right now, and we'll be kind of watching this camera as we're looking ahead. Rain chances there. We're not seeing stuff too high in toward the near future, so that's some good news. I know the rain chance is a little lower than what I was showing you, I was showing you here earlier in the week, so that's something that's good news for everybody as well. If you have some plans, I know Saturday a little rainier toward Jacksonville, but the plans here might be a little bit better. We'll be watching everything here in the Weather Center, of course, as we continue to look at some of the different aspects of the weather situation across our region. But right now, let's go ahead and move away from WeatherStem. Again, we're looking at our area. We've also been alluding to that severe weather potential across our nation, and we have another area we'll be watching as we look toward your Friday. Maybe a significant threat of some damaging winds as we get toward parts of, it looks like, over toward Minnesota and North and South Dakota as well. So we want people to be aware here of some damaging winds, tornadoes as well, but we'll have to watch here for some damaging wind gusts here in this part of the country as we're looking there toward the upper Midwest. So that's the kind of the storyline there. We'll go ahead and move away from that real quick since we're on here. Not going to be on until Tuesday with another scheduled update. I did want to mention hurricane season again, and luckily there's not too much to talk about right now. The action's pretty suppressed. There is even not affecting us directly, but some Saharan dust that is still suppressing some of that action. So that's some good news for everybody at home. We're not seeing any imminent development here. Development even in the next 5 days, not expected. So that's the good news. We'll continue to check in though with the tropics here and give you that latest information as it does become warranted. So we'll be going ahead now and moving on to that forecast to be able to see that high heat index story staying the big weather is the big story, I guess I should say here. Those high heat index values, so those rain chances here trying to cool things off just a little bit. You see Saturday getting a little bit higher as we get into toward Sunday and toward Monday. You do see here some of those rain chances maybe falling a little bit. Those temperatures starting to get on up a tad as you're looking, and then in the Ward Tallahassee Valdosta area forecast, you see these temperatures moving up a little bit as well, and you see some of these rain chances here inching up just a little bit. So we're going to see some more moisture come into the picture, so it could get some stronger storms here eventually as we are looking ahead here. Maybe some severe weather on an isolated basis, of course, but we'll just be watching to see how things are evolving across our region here. Real quick, another radar update. We'll take you over to the radar scope computer right now. You'll be able to see what is happening here across the region, and you see still some action as we're looking toward Alachua County, toward Marion County, even toward Levy County. This is something that I need to touch on. It's starting to come into view out of our area from Citrus now. We're seeing maybe the strongest storm in our area right now here, not too far away from Inglis here, not too far away from Yankeetown here, the worst of this action. So something to watch here in towards Levy County. I'll be watching how this evolves, looking like it's tracking here further off here toward right now the northwest or so, the direction what we're seeing here, and you're seeing some lighting as well. So we'll be watching all of this here in the Weather Center, of course. Just stick with me. Of course, if there's any severe weather, we'll make sure we break in, but we're not really expecting anything in that regard right now. So that's the good news. As I go ahead and come back on camera, we'll see that forecast here just one more time. You'll be able to see what is happening here with that extended outlook, and you do see here these temperatures warming up a little bit here across the region, but really it's just going to stay the story. The heat, and you're going to be seeing those heat index values pretty high. So just remember, using extra caution outside is important, and stay safe out there. For now, meteorologist Casey Cloud, I just want to go ahead and wish you a great weekend out there. Of course, it's always important to have multiple ways to receive warnings because, for instance, last night there was a Twitter outage for verified accounts. So some methods there of receiving warnings through Twitter weren't available, so it's always important. I know the people in the Midwest there impacted by that, so this kind of little thing we want to touch on real quick But again, our next update will be on Tuesday. I'll be off on Monday unless we have some severe weather to talk about. So our next scheduled update will be exclusively on Twitter on Tuesday, exclusively on Facebook after that on Wednesday, and on all the platforms coming up Thursday. Have a great weekend.